we're going to talk a little bit about North. In fact, I want to, off the top, ask you about James Brayshaw last night. Is he just appealing to the members at I think it was the AGM of the season launch last night, and he's just declared you've got the world's worst stadium deal. Is that meant to give the fans a bit of a lift before the season?
I think, Matty, that was at the AGM last night, and just to, as he said in his comments, was just to tell everybody why we're getting so much money from the AFL. Isn't because we're poorly run or can't make a dollar. It's because we've got this ordinary stadium deal. But I'm a little bit worried because my car's parked in the car park out here and its tyres are going to be slashed on the way out.
Drew, you've been involved in the, obviously, North Melbourne Football Club for a long, long time, but also with the Players Association. You were re-elected as on the board and as a delegate at North Melbourne. Matty Pavlich has just become the new president of the Players Association. Beat out Jimmy Bartel, which is very funny, I believe. That's a real positive step, taking over from Luke Ball for the Players Association. To have somebody like Pav take up that position? Yeah, it is, Lingy. Yeah. Pav and Jimmy were two guys that put their hands up in Luke Ball moving out of the presidency, and Pav got the vote. So for him to put his hand up and want to represent over 800 players in the competition, it increases your workload and your responsibilities, as well as everything he's doing at Fremantle and his private life as well. So for him to do that's a great thing for all the players of the game. The Players Association's been thrown another challenge this week, along with the AFL and a lot of people, with what's happened to Ryan Crowley. What sort of support or what sort of process does the Players Association go through to make sure that the outcome is the right outcome at the end of the day? Yeah, unfortunately the PA's got some good experience in how to deal with this kind of situation, given the dealings with the Essendon saga, and our legal team, Brett Murphy and Bernie Shinners, have done a fantastic job in supporting the Essendon players, and then as well the PA's ensured that the players are going to get monitored at Essendon. So that'll all transfer, and the PA's help will be there and advice for Ryan in this situation. I understand he's got his own legal team, and they seem pretty well organised in the preparation for their defence. So, but the PA will certainly be only a phone call away to assist where need be. Is the importance of the PA really, really highlighted through the Essendon case? I mean, the Players Association has been vital in supporting those players and actually being a voice external to the club. Have you seen, going to the meetings every month, just how much of a role the Players Association has played, stuff that we wouldn't even know? I think it's just the player welfare and the monitoring for years and years after the event, really. That's where the PA is going to be probably the unsung hero in making sure that the players who were involved don't come across any adverse health risks down the track, and their welfare is looked after well beyond their footy careers are finished. The AFLPA have a conference every year. Just maybe tell some of the listeners some of the issues that are arising for AFL players, not just this year, but in the next couple of years that you guys see are going to be something that need to be dealt with. Yeah, we get together once a year, all the delegates flying from around the country, and we meet often here in Melbourne. And speaking about, it's not just about the players receiving more share of the pie or a set percentage of the game revenue, but it's the day-to-day issues. I think a lot of clubs, are different in how they, some clubs, just little day-to-day issues, like some clubs give all their players suits, the club suit for free, and bikes to use for training. And when you add those costs up, you've got a suit, a bike, and things like that. Some clubs, their players might receive 5 or 10 grand's worth of training equipment for nothing, whereas other clubs are expected to buy them themselves and just throw them in the tax return, I suppose. But it's just ensuring that we're all basically equal across all the clubs are equal in what they're receiving and what they're expected to fork out for themselves. So things like that are the run-of-the-mill, the day-to-day kind of things that the players often speak about the most at these conferences. How do you balance that too amongst the players, compared, somebody who's working 60, 70 hours a week and on a lot less money than an AFL player is, who's hearing things like that and hearing about work-life balance, everything like that, saying, well, hang on a second, guys, stop whinging a bit. Balancing the players' expectations of, yes, they need to be looked after, and yes, they need to have an even playing field to everybody else in the competition, but however, you're still in a really fortunate position and a really good job. Yeah, of course. I think sometimes you hear yourself from what you're talking about and you think, geez, we sound a little bit precious, but it's just about things being equal at all clubs. And the work-life balance, what you're mentioning, is one of the
the big and important issues. We hear so much about if you've got a balanced life off field, then it'll translate to having a good career on field, yet it's almost a part of the game that's hasn't been perfected yet, that players are still getting drilled with more information as clubs are giving guys homework to do at night, to sit on the club's intranet site for an hour to review vision from training and from games. So whilst yes, we can be precious at times, it's just ensuring that, because this career is going to finish, so ensuring that guys have got things and can hit the ground running once their AFL time ends. And
part of that is, I guess, the whole free agency debate and what's going to happen, and the call for the window to be reduced to 6 years. Is that a battle that at PA board level you think you're going to win in the short term?
Yeah, well, I think we've got reason to believe so, Matty. The average length of a player's career has gone up to 5 or 6 years now, because the clubs are giving players a little bit more time to develop and to hit their straps. So once you've been around a footy club for about that time, then I think the club knows, and I think you know where you sit within a footy club. So if you're not a regular player, well, then you should be given the opportunity to enhance your career and to be a regular player on a list somewhere else.
Drewy, let's talk a little bit of North Melbourne. We've been peppering you with the Players Association stuff, but it's a huge year coming up for North. A real positive step last year in making a preliminary final, but the sense there is that you guys know the opportunity is to go that week further and hopefully win the flag. Brought Jared Wade in, brought Sean Higgins in, Nick Del Santo last year. Is there that really strong belief amongst the group that, yes, last year was a great step, but it's not where we want to end up? We want to go all the way?
Yeah, exactly, Lingy. It finished on a pretty sour note in getting flogged by Sydney, and we didn't give a really good account of ourselves. So the club's done really well recruiting the two guys you mentioned back in this year. Add Daniel Wells, who didn't play much footy last year. Andrew Swallow missed the first 8 weeks, and Lockie Hansen missed the last 6 or 7 weeks. So you hear so many times about getting your best 22 on the park for as long as you can, and if we can do that, then we're confident we can go as well as we did last year, if not better. The competition's improving at a rapid rate, and there's a dozen sides, or probably 14 sides, that could nearly finish in the top 8 from where we're all sitting and judging at the moment. So we're in the mix for being one of those, and again, you need to finish top 4, otherwise you're going to do it the hard way if you want to win a premiership.
Here's a tweet from Ryan. Hey Drew, you're my favourite player. Are you confident Wade Brown, Black and yourself can all work in together?
Yeah, I am, Ryan. I think I recognise that name as an old schoolmate. Yes, yeah, I can. We all can fit in quite well. I'm not sure what the formation will be or what the formula will be yet. This weekend when we play Trent Cotchin's mob, we will know more so. We'll play basically a full dress rehearsal. But the guys that were mentioned, Black, Brown and Wade, certainly add depth to our forward line.
Drew, you're the leader of that forward line, though. Is it just you just tell them to just get outside 50 and give you a bit of space, boys?
Yeah, a little bit of that. It's a little bit harder now with Wadey telling me to move up the ground and get out of his way. So heads are clashing at the moment.
Drew, you're 32 years of age. How's your body? How's your mind going into this season? How long do you think you can play for?
I think I've got a couple left in me, Brownie. I had an ankle arthroscope at the end of last season, which is the first post-season surgery I've had in my 14 seasons. That's good. Yeah, which is okay. So that gives me confidence that my body's been resilient across the years. So I look at Brent Harvey, and I don't think I'll play till I'm 37, but I think I've got a couple to go. And again, early in my career, just doing all the pre-seasons and not being injured sort of held me in good stead to keep me where I am now. And
getting a guy like Wade in to just take a little bit of pressure off you, you must be loving that. Majak Dor hopefully develop into the player that we think he can be. Just doesn't rely on you to be kicking the 4 and 5 every week. Yeah,
Wadey performed really well in our first NAB game, and Majak is added to the list, which we just saw moments ago from the tweet. Majak took 7 really strong grabs early in the game against Adelaide, our first NAB game, and he looks good at training, Majak.
Yes or no to this question? Can North Melbourne win the flag in 2015?
Well, of course I'm going to say yes. Thanks, Matt.
We can discuss it more on AFL Exchange. Download the podcast on iTunes. Put in AFL Exchange. Drew's on every week with us on AFL.com.au. One last question from you, Ling. We do have to go to a break.
I'm just going to say Brownie has picked the next 5 Coleman medalists. Yeah. Where have you got him ending up?
Don't rule him out. He can win the Coleman this year.
I was sitting at the back and heard what you said about Rewald too. Yeah.
Good to see you, Drew. We'll catch you soon. Drew Petrie with us here in the studio.